Yo, 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 the Badge Bros are back, and we are coming off a night where we almost had another one. Our boy Numi was in first place of the MLB contest right up until Mookie Betts ripped his heart out. The boys were a Corton Sutton touch away from shipping a couple, not one, but two of those Monday night contests. But that's the past, man. That is the past. We are here to talk about the future. This is going to be the Battle Royale preview show for week 2. And we got all new contests. The single entries are done away with. We got multi entries of boom, boom. Oh, yeah. Coming in. Let's bring in the boys. You know them. Nez and Numi. Numi, I'm so sorry, my friend. How you feeling today?
I guess I should have stayed up and sweated it. Normally how I get the W's, I guess. But no, I just decided to go to bed. I knew something was going to happen. I was expecting to be Freddie Freeman because there was people close with him. I didn't decide to go down and scroll. But yeah, of course I wake up and there's not the extra grand in the account. And I'm just like, well, what happened here? And I actually did the reverse strat. Me and Nez, actually, we go ESPN app or whatever app you want, MLB, and we check the scores first just to see. Yeah. And then immediately when I saw 6, I went, oh, this isn't going to be good. And then I just went to Underdog and I was like, oh, that hurts. But
honestly, are you even a Badge Bro if you don't sweat the games via like the app, then add up the points in your head and then go to the live scoring? Yeah, I don't want to look at the leaderboard. And I know there's a slight delay too. There's a slight delay. So
that was the NFL contest all night with the slight delays. Like it was like, is this actually loaded or not? And then the fumbles, like they weren't loading for a while, and then they loaded, and it was like, oh, okay, so now I actually have a chance. It was really weird. Yeah, if Seattle just wanted to maybe not Denver just wanted to figure out how to play football and not have that clock management. Fumbles. Yeah, well, just not have that clock management. Maybe give me a chance at like Sutton just getting the. I don't know. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen on 4th and 5, but yeah, that was just that was crazy, man. I was a couple Cortland Sutton catches away from getting up there, and it was only a 4-way tie, so it would have been pretty nice.
Nice for sure. Yo, Nez, what's good, man?
What's happening? Wild game yesterday. Those single game slates are fun and ugly sweats. Like you said, you're just like every single time there's a positive play, the leaderboard just completely shuffles. So it's always you
can't even look at it till the end. I swear, man.
You really can't. So that's fun though. I'm sorry that you got your heart ripped out not once but twice. But hey, profit's profit.
Yeah. Only to figure out that I didn't really want to add it up in my head, but I told you when you mentioned that Jamar Chase that they didn't review it, that touchdown, and I was like, oh no, not that one. And then I was like, oh yeah, I just tried to mentally block that out because I told my girlfriend, I'm like, that play right there that they're not reviewing, like that's gonna cost me, and it did.
That's one. That's just to articulate. Well, just to articulate, that was the play that basically didn't get reviewed early, I guess second or third quarter. Chase had one in the end zone where he didn't get his feet down. We didn't talk about this yesterday at all. And then he didn't get his feet down. And then there was another one where he kind of like extended his arm at the goal line and it looked like he broke the plane. And then for whatever reason, they ran hurry up and then didn't throw a flag on it. Yeah. And then they got stuffed on, it was either 3 attempts and a field goal or they got stuffed on 4th and came away with no points. So they really could have used that challenge. I mean, anyways,
shit happens. Yeah, that happens every week. That's the whole, and it makes sense. I'm not gonna. But looking back, it's like, oh, that would have been nice. But oh well. Yeah. On to this.
All right, initial reaction to the new contest, the new breakdown here. They went hashtag make it bigger. The good people at Underdog for. I tried to warn you guys. You guys are all saying, "Oh, this might be the biggest battle royale yet." Blah blah, and then boom. Bigger for week 2, man. This is just the beginning, tip of the iceberg. I'm telling you guys, this is the future, man. Forget playing your season long and your waivers and managing rosters. Like there's no bigger time sink on planet Earth than managing waivers this week. Like, let me just draft 150 of these bad boys. But 50K up top this week instead of the 40. This contest, more or less the same, just slightly bigger and payout structure elongated. That's the $5 battle royale. I'm not sure that I have any thoughts on that in general. Do you guys have any thoughts on that contest structure?
No, it's just as exciting as the last one, if not a little bit more. I mean,
Beautiful.
40 to 50. I'm definitely going to be hammering this one.
Yeah, I love it. And then they basically did away with the single entries, which I'm kind of upset about because I feel that it offers a different play style. And I know it's very hard to balance with a single entry. It's very hard to balance like the RNG aspect of like, well, if you just roll the 1-0-1 in your one single entry, like, oh, you're going to have a better team, right? Like, and it's very hard to break that mindset and do away with like that ideology. And I don't know how to make single entries like traditionally fair, but the single entries are my favorite structure regardless of sport right now. And I was very upset to see them go away, but they've done some interesting things where we kind of have a bigger contest that is multi-entry here. And this is 67 max at $25 a pop, but they're 12-person drafts. So just ballpark feel for you guys. Are we going to have a different strategy in this than in the $5, or what are your knee-jerk reactions?
It's interesting because if somebody wanted to max this, you're looking at committing 1.6 grand to maxing this for a first place payout of 10K. So, I don't have like an EV calculator in my head or anything like that, but I mean, comparing that to a $750 commitment if you want to max the 50K up top, I know that you're facing way more entrants, but to me, I don't think that excuse me, maxing this is obviously necessary. But if somebody did want to attack this, I think that it's not the worst thing in the world. Get an entry in if you don't like what you rolled at your first entry. Maybe do one or two more if you really like the 12-person structure. I do like that they kept a 12-person draft tournament in here, though. I like that adds a different element to these contests.
Likewise. Numi, what's your knee-jerk reaction between the two contests? Which do you think you'll be targeting more? What are you thinking here?
Yeah, I agree with your all statements there. I'm very sad to see the single entries go. I liked it. I liked even having them like do multiple and then the second one being a smaller one, maybe they come back with it and, maybe they're just testing things out, I'm assuming. So I don't think this is set in stone. You know what I mean? They're probably going to feel it out and see what people's reactions are. But yeah, to max it for 1,600 is a lot, especially when I'm pretty sure you need third place is 2,500. So basically if you get fourth and you don't cash any of the other ones somehow or whatever, like you're only getting
you break
1,250. Yeah, you're breaking. So it's just like, from maxing, I'm not going to do it for sure. I could definitely see maybe like 5 to 10 entries, kind of treat it like that. I do like the 12-person drafts. It's really fun. I think we do, again, something maybe like we can reach out on and get clarification is how this 12-person draft affects the ADP. I still want to know that.
Yeah,
because we'll touch on that probably later, but don't need to get into that. But yeah, and then the $100 one being 9 entries, I might be more. I might be willing to do a couple, maybe just 2-3 in that $25, and then put a couple like maybe 5 entries in this one. I don't know. This one seems a little more my style. I like the way this is laid out. I like the super small entrance 330. So that definitely adds a different game theory to it.
Yeah, no, I like this. I think the biggest thing for me is, yes, I like the single entries for sure. I don't love that we're scaling all the contests now that you have to put in 215 drafts or whatever it is to max over the course of a week. Like that's a lot of volume.
You could go the freezer route and just auto draft it all.
Yeah. I mean, I would rather see some deeper 6-person draft, 3 max entry, something like that. And I think the beautiful thing about Underdog is they've taken everything we've said in the past. They've moved contests around. I suggested something on Twitter last night about potentially next Monday night having quarterbacks in and playing a 2-game slate. Instantly got some response on that. So nice. This is a fluid process, right? And they're feeling out we have to appreciate from their back end too, multi-entry contest drive rake, right?
Yeah.
And that's how they make money as well.
Sure.
So, you got to see it from all angles here. That the site isn't just contests in isolation. The site is an ecosystem, and they have to figure out how to balance both the recreational players and the regular players and where that money is all going to flow. And I think they're experimenting with, how big can we get? How many, and I'm on a personal level, though I'm upset that they did away with the single entry, it's not going to deter me in any regard from playing the Hail Mary and the Da Bomb this week, right? So I think they're searching for that balance in the same respect that we're searching for our balance in how to play these contests, right?
Yeah, I bet they have some type of like whale radar, to understand like, okay, we've got some guys that are going to max these out, I mean, and whenever you increase the top prize, obviously that's going to open some eyes and bring in more of those guys to pile into these. So, I'm sure from a business standpoint, they and obviously they feel like they're making the right decisions. And I'm sure they are, but those single entry contests are very unique and a lot of fun. So I hope to see those back. If not some later this week, some maybe next week.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Numi, sure. Anything to add, man?
No, the only thing I'll say is besides that, another thing that's different is they dropped the afternoon contest at the same time. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't know
so
how
we could start
into that, but yeah, so that's an interesting little thing.
Yeah, so we can start drafting the afternoon only right now, opposed to it was a later in the week drop last week. I guess it was Thursday-ish. It was at least after the Thursday,
even Friday.
Friday, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting because the way ADP shifts in these contests will be drastic as well, right? So
for sure. Yep.
I don't know. I'm wearing my Value Hound t-shirt today by design because I think I've done 10, 12, something of just the $5 so far last night. And I'm looking at these ADPs and going, oh my God, like we're just forget about construction, forget about whatever. I mean, don't throw it completely out the window, but like, let's just try and pin pluck these goated plays that we see early in the week that are going to spike in ADP late in the week. Yeah, like I'm looking at, CMC's got an ADP in the 9-10 range right now. Like it says 6, but he's listed as like 10th, and it's like
he goes in the first round though.
Oh, of course he does.
Way more often than not. So
yeah, no, of course he does. I'm just saying that the opportunity right now exists. Whereas on Sunday morning, he's going to be 1, 2, 3, right? Like that's in theory. I don't know if that comes to fruition, but yeah. Anyways, let's you guys want to jump deeper into the slate? I don't think we should do game by game yet. I think we should just do kind of like an overarching ADP glance and then maybe just look at a couple game environments or a couple games in which we're targeting early based on the rosters that we've made. How does that sound to you guys?
Yeah, that's a good game plan.
It's a pretty gross slate if you're just looking at Vegas totals. So I will say, like, there's one game over 50 on the actual main slate. For 50,
yeah, so far.
They've even dropped a lot. So I mean, from opening there were close to, but if you're just looking at Vegas totals right now, it does not look.
I was interested. So we got Lions Commanders pushing near 50. I see 49.5 in a couple spots. And then the main over 50 total that we're looking at right now is Arizona and the Raiders. And basically everyone in that game has an ADP. Let me pull up the ADPs right now. Has an ADP already within the top 25. So I think the market is kind of instantly caught on. What am I looking at here? I think the market is instantly caught on to the fact that, okay, we don't have much to work off in way of projection, in way of lineups and understanding yet. So let's just jump on, Vegas is sharp. Vegas is ahead of the curve. Let's jump on there. But that introduces for us on a personal grinding these games level, it opens up the door for us to get unique in some spots that other people aren't targeting yet. So I think that's where our quote unquote value hounding comes from this early in the week. Where have your guys' eyes been gravitating towards so far?
So I'm like 15 drafts deep into the $5, and right now I'm taking a lot. I'm not sure how up to date my exposures are because I know that kind of takes a little bit, but for me, like instantly, a lot of Leonard Fournette. I was a really big fan of his usage early. He's. I would hope that in a game against the Saints, they can make it a little bit more of a game, get him a little bit more passing game usage. That would be very exciting because
only 2 catches last week.
Yeah, and they didn't really have to throw the ball a lot, but with Chris Godwin out, maybe that kind of opens up the door for more passing opportunities for Leonard Fournette. Just that game in general, I really like. If Alvin Kamara falls, I love taking Kamara. Love Mike Thomas. Love Mike Evans. Love Julio. Love Tom Brady. I'm a big fan of targeting this game because these pieces come. Other than Evans, you kind of have to make a conscious decision to take Mike Evans. In my experience in these rooms, but otherwise, I love that game at its cost right now.
Yeah, it's fun that you jumped right in there because it's the number one game that I'm targeting right now. So it's interesting that our ideologies went to the exact same place.
Yeah.
Because I'm just looking at Q tag beside Alvin Kamara, and like Alvin Kamara is down here beside Akers, Hendo, Hurst, Melvin Gordon. Like one of these things is not like the other one, right? Like it's wild to be looking down here and just be like,
right.
Okay, like okay, maybe I can just punt running back and I can get a run back on a nice game environment with Kamara late. And I've gotten a little weird with these ones too. When you're talking the Lenny side, I've gone Lenny, Taysom Hill, maybe. I don't know. Like just as a one-off tight end late play there, like dart throw. Been doing a lot of the Brady stack and even doing Brady double with the same thought process as you had there, where Lenny's going to catch passes this week without Godwin. And I'm not trying to pick between 60% route running players in Julio and Gage. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, just thoughts. Numi, you agree with us? Where are your eyes going? What have you been targeting so far? How many you done?
I've done 20.
Woo! Love it.
And I love the Kamara play. I'm sitting at 32% for him right now.
Let's go.
My highest exposed is CD because he's free.
Okay.
And
he's pushed up, and I think this is you all on your own, man. You pushed
he was just at 28 literally an hour ago. The thing so the ADP is fluctuating, I'm pretty sure every hour.
Yeah, volume of drafts pushing it, right?
So I mean, I've been getting him. I've shown Nez 3 screenshots where I've got him with my last pick. Like no one is taking him, and I get they don't have Dak, but it's CD Lamb.
Yeah,
I don't know what it's CD Lamb. He's free. He's absolutely free as the easiest bring back in all of these Cincinnati stacks.
Yeah, I'd really like to see his usage last year when Dak wasn't there. That's something I'll be diving into and looking into, like seeing what the target share was, seeing where Cooper Rush's eyes went. I don't think Cooper Rush played all their starts last year when Dak wasn't around, right?
He played one, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. It was Ben.
I'm pretty sure he played. Didn't he play? Didn't Cooper Rush beat us?
Yes, he beat you. Yes,
the Vikings. The Vikings. Yeah,
right on brand. Right on brand.
Nope.
Thanks for.
Nope. He beat you personally, and then.
Yeah, he crushed you.
Just wait. If we get this Monday night contest, Numi's gonna explode.
I'm looking. He did. Cooper Rush went off, man. 24-40, 325, 2 tuds.
Yeah, against a lackluster defense and terrible secondary like Minnesota. Yeah, absolutely.
Justin Jefferson had a pass attempt. That's fun. Justin Jefferson had almost more pass attempts than he did freaking catches that game.
I love it. What
are they doing?
Not it. That's for sure. So he just to show on that CD Lamb, Amari Cooper's not there, but he got 8 receptions. It's not showing targets for me because I'm literally just on Google. But CD has 6 receptions for 112 yards. So I mean, he did stuff with Cooper. I don't know.
Yeah. For sure.
He's definitely going to dominate that target share. I mean, there's
that's just my
Tim and Schultz. That's it.
What week was it? Does someone know what week that contest was?
I do not.
Cooper Rush, week 8 at Minnesota. Week 8 target share of last year's CeeDee Lamb had.
And there's no Amari.
Yeah, Amari was 8 for 122 in that game and a tutter, and Lamb was 6 for 111.
Wow.
I don't see targets on this chart. Why did targets not?
But anyway, that's my thing.
Anyways.
That's my CD. I expect him to be the same thing as Kamara for you. And I'm on your Kamara 100%. So I'm just giving my other option because Kamara would have been my one, like my second one. But
no, I really like it. I've been mixing it a little bit as well. I've been mixing it more with Mixon than with the pass catchers, like with Chase and.
Oh yeah. I have a lot of Mixon as well.
Yeah, Mixon and then that flip back. Brad bringing up the Miami Baltimore game.
I was going to touch on this. Yeah.
For me, it might be a lot of. I just see it being so run heavy. I don't know. I haven't. It just
Miami had the highest pass rate over expectation in week 1, and like that wasn't even like script dependent. Like
that's true. It's just
laying it.
But again, it's week 1. So
of course.
I don't want to just take into all that. But I mean, if I look at Vegas totals and I just assume Baltimore's run heavy offense. I know what they did last week. And then Miami, who I'm pretty sure didn't Mike McDaniel said he wants to run the ball. Like, wasn't that a quote? Like he wants to just run it. So I don't know. Again, that's just, I thought about it too. It was the same thing, but at the same total. And I would more gravitate towards that Bucks Saints game.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Not that it's bad. So
yeah, like Kyler's obviously like up there with Lamar as far as what he can do. For me, like I really, really want that. Like what I've been searching for in my first 15 drafts is like I want a Lamar Andrews stack. Like I want it. Like I'm seeking it out. I'm going to be drafting a lot. That's something that I'm making a priority because I think that like Lamar and Kyler are like separators over the field this week potentially, and I think Andrews as a tight end especially can separate over the field. I like Darren Waller as well, but to me that was something that I just really liked, and then like potentially adding Tyreek Hill to that. I'm not going to do as many like run backs this week I think as I did last week. I'm going to try to just kind of look at it a little more like just try to like filter my view from it because I did it quite a bit last week and I got close, but I'm not going to try to force it. But if Tyreek Hill is there, that's kind of hard to pass up from like a run back standpoint. But I know what you're saying about the Vegas total and all. I'm just I like both these teams and I think it could be a fun, exciting game.
And it's technically one of the higher games for Vegas totals.
Oh, dude!
And
the thing is, when we're building
100,
when we're building 150 of these things, we have to mix it. Like it has to be in our portfolio. It has to be part of it. Whether it's our number 1, our number 5, or our number 10 favorite game, I think there's just ways to get there.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of. I have 4 Waddle, 4 Hill.
Yeah, Waddle's free right now.
Even some Tua, a lot of Lamar.
Okay.
Kyle Pitts is absolutely like free right now in all of my drafts I've been doing.
Oh, I was having a different experience. I was having Pitts get paired with Cooper almost every single time in the second or third. I haven't seen him slide much.
I have 50% Pitts right now in my 20, so I have 10 of them, and I'm pretty sure if they showed my average ADP, that would be awesome. It would be in the 20s for sure. I've gotten with my last pick a couple times. I don't know what people are doing.
Yeah, nice. That's good. This is an interesting one just because it's top of mind. We saw it last night. This man had 11 catches. Melvin Gordon was heavily involved, obviously. They both had goal line fumbles. They both had goal line attempts, blah, blah, blah. This is interesting. I'm digging this spot at Houston with low-key suppressed ADPs. You can build backdoor doubles of both. Like Russ is the most expensive piece outside of Javonte, but you can easily build 3-4 turn or 4-5 turn from the 1-2 slots of Sutton plus Russ or Russ plus Judy. that sort of thing. And then the Cooks bring back is there some of the time, not always. Sometimes you have to take it first. But just overarching thought, what are you guys thinking on that game environment? What'd you see last night from them, from Williams? Is this something we're trying to, are we taking recency bias too far by not thinking they can put up a 50 burger this week in Houston?
Yeah, it was very confusing to watch.
Oh, versus Houston, sorry.
Yeah, very, very strange offense there. I mean, it was just weird for a while. No wide receiver targets, like, period. But at the same time, Javonte looked fantastic. I mean, he looked fantastic last year, but this game he looks great. He doesn't make a lot of moves. That's not really what he does. He's just gonna go. And you're just gonna have to do your best to tackle him. And he's breaking so many tackles. There's a lot of yards after first contact against Texans. This really seems like a smash spot for Javonte. That pass catching usage was awesome. I'm not sure we're gonna get it in the game versus Houston. Houston's probably gonna have to play some really good ball on their end for that pass script, I think, to be the same as last week. But Javonte is one of my favorite picks this week.
Like it.
Yeah, I think another thing, I agree with all that, and with the whole 50 burger, I think the recency bias, maybe people are weighting them down too much. They lost 2 goal line fumbles, so they easily could have had a 30 burger, and people would be, and it would, you know what I mean? So just
100%.
Yeah. So
100%. I guess the only thing that deters me slightly is the same thing that's deterred everyone all year in these conversations, is just the fact that the red zone carries were 4-4, or opportunities, red zone team opportunities were 4-4, and then the snap splits were, I think it was 58, something like that.
It's not the same.
Yeah, it was 58 to 41. It's just like, it's kind of like, okay, do I need to spend a second round pick? Because he's going at the 1-2 turn right now. And it's like, yeah, I love the game environment. I love the player. I love what we saw, sort of. And then it's kind of like, hey, can I target him at the 1-2 turn? I don't know. Maybe just wait and get Kamara. Right? It's just like, it's this weird juxtaposition right now for me mentally. It's like, oh, just wait and get Lenny.
Yeah. No, it's hard because he's one of those guys that, like, you have to kind of make a decision going into your draft that, like, I want him in this draft. Right. Because there's so much value late where you can just kind of like let it come to you. And running back value, especially, I really kind of like targeting these wide receivers early on this week, just based on the slate layout. But they ran Javonte a lot last week. I would really like to see them in positive game script to see how many carries he gets and what kind of damage he can do. It really seems like he has the chance to wreck when things go right for them, based on how they were using him early. I mean, I know Melvin got a lot of work in, but early on, man, it was the Javonte show.
Right, and they were trailing. They were trailing right away, so all the usage we saw was like negative script, right?
True.
So imagine them. They put 14 on the board, and then what happens, right?
Yeah.
Does Javonte just get like 15 touches in the second half, like 14 carries?
Right.
I don't know, maybe.
Could be a really, really fun team if they get out ahead. They're just some teams that just play different like that in different scripts, and I think that they can be one of them.
Yeah, 100%. The tight end usage was so weird. I don't know. It was just like,
dude, right?
Just
what are we doing?
Throwing to tight ends and running backs like that, but like not Alberto. It was
Andrew Beck looked like he was making some plays out there, man. He was making plays. I don't know,
but he was lined up as a
every
fullback.
Tight end with the ball in their hands looks like a freak every time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even just the blocks that he was making on some of these runs. I mean, they were high.
Oh yeah.
One thing
fullback, he made
one thing I will say to your. Or I will just ask as a question. So you said you were just kind of concerned about Javonte or Gordon. I don't know, or somewhat, right?
Yeah,
So what do you feel about DeAndre Swift?
Probably the same. Like it's the exact same thing.
Yeah,
like
because I went and looked, and it's like, it could be Javonte even does. My thing was Javonte could do the same thing, that they did last night, but he just gets the touchdowns. Because even when Jamal Williams got those touchdowns, Swift put up, what was it, a 20-something burger? So
26, yeah.
But I mean, Williams got 33% of the snaps, but 7 red zone versus Swift's 2. If this is right, I'm looking at 2022. red zone summary by team. So I mean,
no,
those are backfields where it's just like, if they do well with those touches, you obviously trust those guys. And I would basically, to your comment, I trust Javonte basically to put some of those snaps in the end zone, which would then result. And then, like they did, I mean, at some point yesterday, they just didn't want to take him off the field. I mean, there was like 4 snaps in a row, taking a beating, and he just went right back to right back there and just got it again. And it was just like, they when they switched him, it was kind of like they forced the switch. They didn't take him out for rest or anything like that. They forced it like per series type thing is what you saw. But
yeah, I don't think week 1 really changed much for us mindset wise with Javonte and Swift. Like there's still those second round backs that we were targeting that were pushing up hard in season long. There's still those second round backs that are pushing up this week as well in these contests. They're both bet on talent guys. They're both pass catching guys, but we knew they were going to be in splits. And I think the Swift split comes out to me a little less. I have a little less confidence in the Swift split than I do in the Javonte one, if that makes sense. Like, I think Jamal's going to be worked in. That goal line usage to me was like, this is a thing. And I think that might be very unfortunate. I don't think that was script dependent. I think that was role dependent, if that makes sense.
I feel it.
Yeah. We're not going to see Jamal Williams go away anytime soon. That's just the facts. But you know, Swift is still Swift. He's still going to be one of my favorite mid-round clicks in these contests, unless he gets steamed, which then that would be a very sad fade on my end because I love Swift.
And it's just confusing with the 9.380 like ADP, but like I don't know how he has a 9.3 ADP when I see him falling way past 9 on all my drafts. So it's just like,
I've seen him. That's interesting because
the 12-man man. That's
at the 6-7. I've seen him go at the 6-7 turn where they double tap Swift Barkley or Swift CMC, something like that at the 6-7 turn. I've seen that.
Oh, you mean like pick
now.
6 and 7, not rounds?
Yeah, sorry.
Gotcha.
Pick 6 and 7. Yeah. Sign me up for Swift in the 6th round forever. Yeah. Let's do a quick positional thing here. I don't want to dive too heavily into this slate. I want to do a couple drafts and feel it out together kind of thing, opposed to we'll do kind of more of a big slate breakdown tomorrow or Thursday or something like that when we got more information on practice reports and team totals and projection models are more updated. Let's just talk position by position quick and jump in some drafts here. Quarterback position here. I think this sets up right now. We got Burrow, then Murray, then Lamar, Wilson, Carr, Stafford. And then I've seen so far, I've seen Lance get drafted. I've seen Brady get drafted. I've seen Wentz get drafted. I've drafted Tua and Ryan. And outside of that, I haven't seen many other quarterbacks go. Burrow's ADP to me as a 10 just sets up that like, he's an auto tap for people who tapped Chase in the first. I think that gives us an interesting point of leverage right there, just knowing that. Running potentially naked Burrow or running Burrow Higgins with the Q question tag beside him or running Mixon and fading the pass catchers. Like it's introducing some – you definitely want to have the Burrow Chase exposure in my opinion. But I think his ADP and his price point right now is setting up for some interesting builds. What do you guys think on the quarterback position and Burrow in general?
Yeah, I agree with the right away with the Higgins Burrow. I like that. That's one thing I identified with the ADPs was like, and basically because I wanted to do it, and that's my first couple of teams with Chase. I was like, it's a tap right there, you know. But yeah, I love getting different with that with Higgins. For the quarterbacks, I have basically just for a quick kind of team total projection combined thing, I was going around and looking at I have like Lance, Brady, Stafford as some good late targets that are as of now projected well and have good team totals. Then also I have Burrow and kind of Russell Wilson a little overvalued just to what I've seen. I still have taken Russ. There's just when I have Lance, Brady, and Stafford back there, and Russ is going that much higher, it's just kind of like, So that's my only thing.
So overvalued. in the sense that the field is overvaluing them right now. You're not overvaluing them.
Yeah. Just basically from
clarifying.
from my projection and whatever standpoint, I have taken Russ once, so it's not, and I will mix him in. I'm not full fading or anything when I say this. Just at the moment, looks like I'll be trying to maybe catch the fall in ADP if that can happen. So if anything, I see him falling in ADP, not really rising. So
one note, just before, sorry, Ness, before we jump here, is the Kyler and the Las Vegas game and the Arizona game looks like this week's version of Las Vegas and the Chargers. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
In week 1, we had that Vegas Chargers that was the steamed up chalk. That was the classic, like people were building that construction all week long in the first 2-3 rounds. And then as Sunday came, all of a sudden those Chargers ADPs started dropping. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're seeing right now is Arizona Vegas is getting built up right now because everyone's going, team total, Kyler's getting pushed up, everything like this. And as the week goes on, I think it's going to push down in the other direction.
That's a great point, and I'll just say that's a great point. That's exactly.
I can see that. I'm still on this game. I love what I saw from Devontae just being an absolute alpha for Vegas. And touching on these QBs here, Joe Burrow for me is like right now like a DND unless he falls in the 6th. Just as he's running a lot more. He started running a lot more in the playoffs, and he ran a lot versus the Steelers because he kind of like had to. I don't think that I would be surprised if that's like what he does now, if that's part of his profile now, where you can bake in 3 extra points because Burrow's going to run for like 30 yards or something. Otherwise, like for me, unless I get Chase, and I have 3 Jamar Chases without any Burrow right now because I'm just waiting. If somebody wants to take Joe Burrow, I know you mentioned taking Joe Burrow naked. I'm not going to do that. I've in my 15 drafts, I only have 4 quarterbacks right now. So I do want to expand that a little bit, but I would take a car stack here. I think that the Arizona defense, I know they were playing Mahomes, but these 2 defenses, I think, lend themselves to some mistakes.
Right on. No, yeah, I like that, and I think it's an interesting point that you bring up with the 4 quarterbacks that you've only drafted so far. Like consolidating ownership around quarterback is not a bad idea right now, especially the way the ADPs are at this point in time. Like we can mix later. That's an interesting point. Yeah, it's an interesting point that Brad brings up right now. Mariota Lance, but better, crazy, but he had 70 plus rushing yards, maybe undervalued, like him with Pitts. Kind of a contrarian stack with a rushing floor potentially, and in a decent game environment as a run back with Cup, because the way Stafford's ADP right now is I think the majority of teams that just have Cup wait on quarterback and then just backstack with Stafford. And that's why he gets pushed up to that 6-7 ADP. Nobody's really running Stafford naked. Nobody's running Stafford. Maybe Stafford Higbee. Higbee had 11 targets in week 1. Like, I know they're trailing and I know whatever, but is Allen Robinson dust? I don't know. Maybe he's dust. Maybe it wasn't Justin Fields' problem. Maybe Allen Robinson is bad, right? Like, who knows?
To that comment, I have
it's weird
25% Allen Robinson so far.
There you go. So there's that's a good spot to take us. It's a good spot to take a stance right now because he's obviously leverage off Cup, and he's a good way to get different with Stafford stacks because the majority of Stafford ownership is going to consolidate around Cup. Right?
Oh yeah, a strong percentage, very strong.
Right. Okay, running back position. We highlighted a couple guys that we liked deep there. Kamara's ADP, Fournette's ADP. Any other targets? Are we pushing running back up this week? Are you guys looking pass catcher early? What's been standing out to you?
Najee getting pushed down and him saying he's going to play. If he's like my last pick, I've mixed him in. And I think if you go down just a little bit more, I think there might be one more below him. So Michael Carter for me, I think is pretty interesting.
As the
Against
bring back
Cleveland.
pass catcher kind of deal.
Yeah.
Trailing script.
Yeah, I'm just such a Michael Carter fan, and he's going to catch balls, he's going to run a little bit, so I'd like to see him actually like catch a ball in the end zone. He dropped one last week, but they're staying true to what the reports and everything has been saying, is that Michael Carter is the starting running back as it stands right now, and I think Cleveland, I'm not really too scared of them. So that's something. I'm not going to have like a big Michael Carter exposure, but I am going to mix him in if I get some like chalk stacks, like I always like kind of preach. Like if I get like a nice little LV Arizona game stack going, I might throw in Michael Carter there. Get way different.
Yeah, just as your contrarian one-off. Yeah,
I love that call.
What are you thinking, Numi?
For RBs, I just have a little quick cheat sheet of. I'll just go again. My perceived undervalued guys who I'd like to target right now in terms of what I'm seeing is CMC, love it. Kamara, love it. Fournette, love it. Najee, it's like I have it all right there. And then my another call I have is Antonio Gibson.
I like it. I
like Gibson because if I remember correctly, they play the Lions, and I know it's 1 week. But I mean, they got gashed.
Yeah.
And like, I don't think just 1 week, maybe a worse team in the Commanders like helps, but yeah, they got
gashed. That's gonna be a fun game. That's gonna be a fun game.
An interesting. I like Gibson. So yeah.
One thing I'll say about Gibson that I really like to see is McKissick's always been built up as this pass catcher, and he's really good in that role. Blah blah blah. Week 1, Gibson. 8 targets of 11 running back targets. And like he dropped a couple deep seam route. He had it was a wheel route to the outside. And then I think there was a seam route in there too. So just something of note that like the perceived pass catching back wasn't necessarily that. And he's staying on the field for that role that we loved and envisioned when we were all taking him in the 3rd round of 2021 drafts. Right.
Yeah, he's exciting. I love that game. I hit that over already.
7 catches for 72 yards. Yeah, I don't know how much of that was propped up by overtime. That game went to overtime, right? No, it didn't. That was not one of the over. Okay, yeah.
No, the overtime was Cincy and Pitt, and then Indy and Houston tied, right?
Indy, Houston. Yeah, that was what it was. Yeah, my bad.
Nothing like a tie on week 1.
2. We almost had 2. That would have been nasty.
Yeah, that would have been crazy.
Thank God we didn't.
Yeah. And
the killer bee, the only remaining killer bee.
One left.
There's one left. They're going extinct.
I'm looking at the stat counts here too for a second. We got Gibson at 64%, McKissick at 40%, and Jonathan Williams just mixed in for 1 snap. So, I mean, it's still 60-40 or 65, whatever. I guess they had it doesn't add up perfectly because they had 2 running back sets where they were both on the field a couple times there, which is kind of a cool kind of a cool dynamic with 2 pass catching running backs to have them both on the field there.
They got weapons, man. They got weapons over in Washington. So that's going to be a fun team to watch. I mean, you also got to, Curtis Samuel doing his thing again, like he did in Ohio State and Carolina for a little bit. He got a carry or 2, I believe. That's a pretty fun team there in Washington. I'm excited for this Detroit game.
Okay, so we got Gibson, and then obvious run back there with the Amon-Ra St. Brown, where they're both free. You can double tap them at like 5-6 kind of deal. Yep. I mean, Amon-Ra's been pushed up a little bit, but Amon-Ra's got like some nasty streak going of like 6 or 7 straight games with 7 or more catches.
That's
something
insane.
Like that. Yeah, it was something.
Earned himself 12 targets last game.
With 12 targets.
Wow. With Chark on the field, with Hawk on the field, with Swift on the field. I mean, the dude's legit. The dude is legit.
Yeah. That is hold on. I'm lagging behind because I don't know the alphabet apparently. Here. Amon-Ra's had since week 13 last year, his targets 12, 12, 11, 11, 11, 10.
Ooh-wee.
Like, okay. And then
Jared
week
Goff
1
loves
and then
his slot receivers.
And then week 1 this year, 12. DJ Shark with 8. So, okay, this is interesting. So as this team total pushes, and we talked about how we like this game environment and that sort of thing, if Amon-Ra pushes up a little bit, we could get a little nasty contrarian with this by bringing it back with Chark. Like Chark, you know, people forget, like this guy's a talented dude, right?
Mm-hmm. I think, one thing we need to make sure we remember when we're building these is now it's got an even larger field. We're building for a large field tournament. So any of that is viable. And like getting gross, even if that really isn't that gross, like just getting different, like in that, just thinking like, if you're telling yourself like, oh, it has to be Amon-Ra, it can't be Chark, well, then you're immediately shooting yourself in the foot because it can be like, it, you know what I mean? Like, so, definitely.
Or it could be Hawk, little one-off tight end Hawk.
Yeah, unless you're advocating for like a full-fledged jet stack type like that, any one of your calls like is perfect. Like, getting different, I love it. It's a great thing people need to be remembering, like not just drafting the best plays, but also trying to take advantage of this ADP while also getting a little different with your last picks because of how top heavy this contest and large it is.
Yep.
It brings up a good point that Nez brought up yesterday where we were talking about how this contest, the larger the player pool, the less we have to correlate. Like just in a vacuum, right? In those single entries, it made a lot of sense to be like, hey, I got to get like 2 variables. Like I can't get 3 individual variables correct. So let's consolidate 2 of them. And that's the bring back, or that's the double stack or whatever. In this large field, like 50, I think it's 53K entries now. Like we are literally hunting, like it's possible. We don't want to be results oriented based on last week, but it's very possible that the best game environment does produce the best lineup as well. And that's a reason why correlation patterns exist. And it's reason why we target, mini game stacks and a little bring back, whatever, right? We talked this thing to death yesterday, but just the thought process of, maybe that one-off Hawk gets us there. Right? Like that's the game environment and that's the piece you need. And tight end's not overly deep. And that's the one-off that you need, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to all be, sorry, Newbie. It doesn't have to all be tied to the same game is all I'm getting at. It doesn't have to be Gibson Hawk. It's like, well, Hawk could get there just because we love the game environment for Hawk, right? So
that's perfectly put. Like it just tell yourself the scenario in which this guy can get there without needing another guy to get there. And it's just, I mean, you can do that for each guy, but it's like, not everyone needs that bring back. Like you can definitely do it if one of the top projected plays is sitting there. Like if it's an easy tiebreaker and you're sitting somehow someone's fell and you're like, it just makes too much sense. We're not saying not to do it. Like it's just, we're just saying, don't go out of your, for people say, just don't go out of your way to just force that. Like, I'm gonna get this third wide out to make sure I do with that. It's like,
exactly. And that was part of my problem where I would there were some drafts where I would literally type in the search bar, like opposite team. Hey.
Right. Yeah.
Look, you see, you never know. You never know. With those Jets.
I'm pretty sure Jameis Winston took down quite a bit of tournaments this week, like larger field with that Thomas that I was in. It wasn't top of the Millie, but I mean,
but large field single entry or whatever. Yeah, I got on that. I had a nice one. Jameis MT CPAT bring back.
Awesome.
There you
go. And then because that was unique enough, I ate the chalk ownership.
There you go.
That's Saquon and whatever. Yeah, I got on that one as soon as the Tyler Algier inactive on Sunday morning, and I pivoted a couple of those.
Yeah, that was a bombshell.
So like just one thing that I have been doing is when you look at now what Dallas is like, you can don't be afraid to put in your portfolio a couple. I've done Chase Mixon, like it's capping it. I'm not going to do that, but like. It's just saying that can't happen. Like basically I went out of my way and then I kind of ate in my way. I kind of ate the more chalky plays and I stacked up and I made it. So like, you know what I mean? But like there's ways where Chase goes out there, puts up 2 tutties quick and then they run the ball. You know what I mean?
100%.
It's not saying to go into, but like just little things like that. Like you shouldn't be immediately eliminating combos. So that's another thing that I like. So anyway, continue.
Big fan of that.
Nez, you've been quiet for a hot minute here. Let's jump into wide receiver and give me some thoughts Are we thinking like last week where it seems really top heavy? Are we thinking ownership's going to be more dispersed later, or do you think it's going to consolidate kind of around these back end targets so far? What are you thinking here, just as an overarching?
To me, like right now, I see as like maybe 3 or 4 tiers. Like tier 1 is like Cup, Devontae, Chase. After that, then it's like Debo and maybe Pittman, and then after that, I kind of see it as being really flat and kind of like, just pick your poison. And play the ADP game if you want. But I think Debo with Eli Mitchell out and a better game environment with Seattle, where hopefully it's not torrential downpouring, and San Francisco, that doesn't happen there. So we should expect better weather, better results for all Niners, especially Debo, who is going to be handling the rock a lot more with Elijah Mitchell out. I don't see any way how he doesn't end up getting a ton of touches and racking up yards. So I was off him last week, and obviously because of the weather, this week he's really attractive right now.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree with that thought process right there. He's always a tough click for me, whether it was season long, whether it's these contests. He's always a tough click for me. I think he just falls in that no man's land tier where he's kind of like both in his usage and both in the way you construct rosters, is he always just falls in that little like, well, if I took an alpha wide receiver in the first, I'm probably not going to click his name. And it was always, he's always just the guy he's very hard to project. That's probably exactly what it is. Right. Numi, who are you seeing at wide receiver? Do you agree with the flat distribution and ownership right now? Or what are you seeing?
Yeah, I got a lot of guys that I like that are basically have a lower projections. Just CD, Mike Evans, Amon-Ra, Higgins, DJ Moore, Mike Thomas,
DJ
Allen
Moore.
Robinson,
I like that call. I like the DJ Moore
McLaurin,
call.
Deontay, all guys that really I don't feel like are getting that much love that definitely can be put in your lineup. So I like those. And then
I know that
oh no, go ahead.
I know that the Steelers, or Najee said he was going to play, but that's not written in stone. That game overtime, so like the raw numbers are obviously pushed up, but we got Deontay with 12 targets. That's kind of nice. Nobody else came close. Clearly seems to be a focal point of that in like that game, right?
Just doing what Deontay does, man. Just being a target hog. I would love to have seen some better results there. But New England, like people were expecting, I personally wasn't. I thought maybe people were, overreacting to reports and projections about New England. They don't look good. So it was 1 week, but this could be a nice little bounce back week because the Steelers, they got the dub, looked really bad doing it. They needed 5 turnovers from Cincy to squeak out a win in overtime. Hopefully this kind of rights the ship and things look better here. Deontay, nice sleeper in my opinion.
Yeah, I like that call a lot, Numi. I like what you're saying there, Nez. Deontay and DJ Moore stand out to me in here. And Deontay's nice as a one-off because I don't think there's a ton of the New England side stuff that we are going to be chasing this week, or at least that I'm going to be chasing so far this week. Yes, Alice brings up a nice point. I was just looking at that. I didn't believe it when I saw it, but he had 4 carries. Yeah.
Could that be? Okay. Was that after or before Najee got hurt?
Good question. I mean, we could dive.
It was while Najee was there. It was script. It was.
Yeah, it's good to know. That's all I was wondering. So I like couple end arounds. Nothing against Claypool here.
Mm-hmm.
No. Yeah, they just want to get. He was just. They see him. That's a vote of confidence for Claypool for sure. I don't know that I would take it. If you want to kind of get crazy, I don't see him having a big blow up spot. Maybe in DFS for salary wise, you can get unique there. But yeah, that's another interesting guy there, Robbie.
I was just highlighting his name because that's on us, man. We did not see the narrative of the name change. We did not even bring it up. I didn't even know this. I.e. Robbie Anderson. He's a new man now. I don't know. He had 74 of those yards in the touchdown came on play. But that's Robbie Anderson. That's Robbie Anderson in a vacuum, right? He's just he's one of those, better in best ball, break a slate by just breaking off a huge one, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to do kind of a deeper dive into wide receiver as the course of this
Sure.
week goes on, because there's going to be some, as we progress and we start seeing the usage models for some of these rookies like push up, I think it's going to be just like in a vacuum as a strategy that we can start biting on rookies prior to them getting steamed or them exploding, right?
Yeah.
Like eating Jawan Dotson this week is kind of like, well, he went off last week. We've seen it. Now maybe we do this kind of deal. Or let's get ahead of the curve and maybe Chris Olave is the Dotson of this week, right? Maybe, like that's just a different way to get unique in a game environment that we already love. Michael Thomas had those end zone targets, but he wasn't really the volume guy we were accustomed to seeing. I haven't looked at all the route running projections or all the route running results of that game, but just like an overarching thought that it's like, hey man, maybe there's a little something here that we can find deep in the weeds with one click to get different kind of deal. It's Chris bringing up here. I like the Murray Hollywood mini stack with the Waller bring back. I think yes, you and everybody else. It's pushing up right now pretty hard. I like it a lot too. Yep. And it's kind of hard to get away from, but it is going to be steamed. So if you are doing that, like word to the wise that we're going to have to get different with some ownership somewhere else, because that's going to be a very heavily owned, 2, 3, 4 round pick stack, right?
Yeah. I think the ways to get different there, like I was saying before, mix up a one-off running back or a one-off wideout. Another way to get unique is what I'm probably going to be doing at least once is attacking that game, and rather than going Waller or Adams, get a little Renfro in there.
I knew it.
Right.
Oh, I knew it.
Yeah,
I knew he was going to say Renfro.
That Chargers.
Man, you have a hard on for him, don't you?
He balls. He balls, man. I'm telling you.
I just give you shit.
I know. It looked like the Raiders and the Chargers were just shaking up a lot of rust together. I mean, it just was an ugly game.
Yeah.
I'm still a believer in Derek Carr with these weapons, and I'm going to be going back to that Hunter Renfro well. Totally.
I mean, there's no one else that's going to catch the ball on that football team. Like we didn't see Amari, right? So it's literally all like it's a target funnel to Adams, Waller, and Renfro. And why can't it be Renfro this week? You know what I mean? Like just as an overarching thought, like who else? Mac Hollins is their third wide receiver. Nobody was even getting target outside of those ones, eh?
Right.
Oh, Mr. Good Boy's back.
What's up, buddy?
He knows what time it is.
What's up, buddy? I'm gonna play this lunch song for you just to drive him crazy.
Yeah, exactly, right. Okay, let's just one quick note if you guys want to add anything to this. Tight end, I think this is going to be an evergreen conversation. Tight end is top heavy this week. I think it's just going to be what we say every week about tight end. And you're just going to have to mix in every week some form of builds that involve early round tight end. That's, you're going to have to at least pick one of your favorites here and run with it, or you're going to have to mix them all at some form of even distribution frequency, whatever it may be. But we're just going to be at the tight end position, hunting volume late or hunting touchdowns in good environments late, if we don't get those top 3 guys. Anything else to add, share, agree, disagree?
Guys, you got anything?
Yeah, so I like Zach Ertz a lot. We were talking about this game environment. I think Zach Ertz is a really nice way to also get some exposure here, just because with the pass catching options in Arizona, they're pretty thin. Zach Ertz is almost always like getting really good usage. Like everybody wants to call him dust and write him off. Like it cracks me up, man. Like at a certain point, I don't know. It just really cracks me up with the way that this team is set up, especially now with Rondale Moore out, man. Like I think Zach Ertz has kind of like such a good floor.
Community bit to just not like the old someone claimed them dust, so now they're dust.
People are calling or using Cook and Kamara's age as like, hey, I don't know, like do we want to draft these guys? Like they haven't even hit like 28 yet. Like,
One thing I'll say about
let's take it easy.
One thing I'll say about tight end, I have a sneaky option that I really, really like late in drafts.
Ooh,
let's hear it.
This is what these streams are for.
This is the Easter egg that we've all been waiting.
Well,
the mic drop.
This one is just injury. This one is just potentially like people don't think it's or whatever. It's George Kittle.
Oh,
okay. Yeah,
very nice. So
George,
where is he?
He's not being. Right. I don't know if he has an ADP.
He's supposed to practice. They expect
he doesn't have an ADP, and I have 7 George Kittle so far. So
let's go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm at 0.
You know what? That late swap potential, it doesn't make it like a dust ball pick. Like it's like you're still gonna have a fill in. Like you're still gonna have whatever you set the rankings as your 7th favorite tight end. Like,
and I should in theory still then have a between these last it's in a late game, which kind of sucks. You would hope it would be the early one for the swap.
Actually, very good point. That's a very good point that you just bring up.
Makes it less appealing for sure.
Late game swap potential changes.
Because if you do go look at it, your most likely swaps are gone with Higbee, Pitts, Waller, Ertz. I guess you could. I mean, actually, okay. So there's a tight end there I liked. In
Alberto.
Yeah, I like
Alberto or the drafts that Schultz doesn't go or Hayden Hurst doesn't go. Hayden Hurst, nice kind of leverage to think about.
Either one of those, and now that I'm looking at it and I'm seeing that those are my options, it's not like I'm like, ooh, it's like, okay, well, if he doesn't go, you know what? It's a last round pick, it's a tight end, and I made the bet. So I'm hoping for Kittle to come back and then be Kittle. So
100%. No, I think that's really sharp. That's something that I hadn't even looked at that deep yet. So I think that's real good. Yeah, that's a real nice little nugget there for the people. That's what the people are paying for on this stream. That's why everybody's signing up. Hit that like and subscribe. That's what the streamers say.
We got to start plugging that more, man.
Yeah,
if you haven't liked it, smash it.
Yeah. We got 11 people in here. Look at us. We're growing every day.
Notification bell too, by the way. Notification bell.
Up only. Eric brings up that Taysom Hill. We talked about it a little bit off the top. Yes, his usage last week was low key, just like a fluke that he broke one of those huge runs. But I think Taysom Hill at tight end will always be in play if you're building 150 of these lineups to sprinkle in 4 of them, right? That's all I'll say to the Taysom Hill. Yeah, I mean,
anyone that says he can't. Just I don't know. There's no rebuttal to that. He's always in play. That's a great way to put it. So there we go.
All right.
For the peeps. There we go. Oh, he's already in it. He's like, boys, I got it loaded up. Don't you?
Wow. Here we go.
Yeah, he didn't want anyone in the drafts. You know.
I should have hit him with a transition. Even. What do we like here?
Sick.
Do we like Adams? We like Chase. I think for me personally, there's a clear top 4 in these right now, and I think we pick between Adams and Chase here. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, I would take Adams here.
Yeah, I like
Devontae. So we're okay, but my thought process so far in these contests have been that there's been a very distinct top 4 that rarely gets deviated from, and it's the Cup, JT, Adams, and Chase. And then it's kind of a free-for-all from there is kind of how ADP's been going. And now CMC's slowly pushing up, as he should be, into this range. So I think the dream right now for us forever until it changes is that CMC comes back. I think that's what I'm dreaming for these builds at this point in time. But thought process outside of that?
I will say the ADPs have changed so much since they first opened up. Like I have a team I don't think you could even get at the ADPs right now at even close. So
well, that speaks to what we've been preaching, the EV to jump in these drafts early, right? But what do you want to say it? You don't have to say it if you don't feel comfortable sharing your team. I know when the contest is live, we don't necessarily want to share them. But okay, so hold on. Let's save that thought for 1 second. If we end up with this would be beautiful. I don't think we're going to. What are we targeting if we don't end up with this?
Unbelievable. What is going on? Have you guys just twice?
The stream EV.
Did you not get Cup? Did you not get Cup and CMC already?
I got Cup and CMC.
All right, I'm done. See you guys. We're done. I'm done. All right, we're over it. No.
Yeah, we've got nothing left.
I'm
What
sorry.
is
I'd like
this?
to inform everyone who is going to be playing these contests for the remainder of this week that they are in fact over. They're done now. You are lighting money on fire. Mr. Rotorun 101 going to take this thing down, guaranteed 50K.
CMC ruled
my
out on Friday.
Stop.
Okay,
Okay,
let's get serious for a hot second right now.
I would say, man, so here's one of my take. I don't know. You could do you could do Hollywood now, and I think now doing that stack, I don't know how many people are going to have that with CMC.
Yeah, I kind of like the thought process there. Nez, we got 15 seconds. What do you like?
Yeah, I would either do that. I'm going either Hollywood or Lamar here, or Kyler, knowing that I can like try to game stack this.
Okay.
I'm all over Kyler.
Yeah, I like what you did because we still have options for all of our quarterbacks. Well, except for not that we're thinking Baker, but I'm talking for the two. So
okay, let's get greedy. We'll go game stack first, and then I guess we hope this falls, or we could get creative elsewhere.
I think
I was kind of thinking Pitts in my mind right there. It's interesting that you guys went those ways because I was thinking drop off, and I was thinking that Pitts is going to be routinely paired with.
I don't know, man.
Cup.
Let's watch. He might not be taken. He's gonna now. He's gonna now that I said it.
I was thinking consolation prize of Ertz with the game stack, but you know, and I love quarterbacks right now. I'm all over Murray and Lamar.
Do you think some of these non-badges are looking at the projection and actually taking that to heart right now? Because
I think it definitely factors in with certain players in the player pool.
Okay, so there you go.
I think it's hard to make a overarching. It's kind of like when you're playing poker. It's like you look at the table and you're like, yeah, I'm going to make some assumptions about that person, but I got to play 100 hands with them first before I genuinely know.
I just mean the market in general.
No. Yeah. And my point is just it's really hard to make a blanket statement like that. I think out of maybe 4 of these names here, 2 of them are taking them to heart. Maybe only one of them's taking them to heart, but they're definitely factoring them in some regard.
I think a lot of people also use like DraftKings salary as a guide as well.
As a benchmark.
That's a really good point.
Yeah. That's a really easy way to see like, oh, like I will just take the highest guys that I couldn't build in DraftKings, you know?
Right.
Huh. I never thought about that. That's an interesting.
I saw it in baseball early on. I noticed, and then I stopped being so micro and just taking the best plays instead.
Yeah, I hate to tell you lost the whole brand and not doing your Nez takes. Now you're just doing.
I know, dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
We like Kyler here for that game stack right there.
For sure.
Build back
there's a lot of. Yeah, none of these guys after us. There's 4 picks. None of them have QBs. They're gonna take.
Yeah, we can't get fishy with that. Yep, I like it.
I love that.
Board real quick.
The team that I was telling you about that I don't think is ADP is Lamar at QB, CMC, Fournette, Debo, Tyreek Hill, and Pitts.
You're gonna need Tyreek Hill going in the second round here. Debo going in the second round as well. Lenny
McCaffrey in the second.
Lenny hasn't gone. Yeah, Lenny's not like a big, but he is. Yeah, he's not even up there in ADP at all. So that's why
that's weird.
For this construction here, tight end is gone by everybody except for him.
What do you think about Kittle in the late rounds?
I really like that play based on what you've said, and I kind of like it as a one-off too. I don't.
You don't need to stack that.
We don't need the Seattle side of the ball.
You definitely can in your portfolio, statement. If you're doing a bunch and you're doing a bunch of Kittle, it doesn't hurt to bring some bringbacks. But I like it as a naked for sure.
The other thing that I'll bring up is we can go double Kyler and bring in Ertz, full game stack that, and then go one off at running back as well, like just as a talking point.
I think that's in play.
I like Kyler more as a 1 just because he can get that running is my hope. So then that's my
okay. So if we like Kyler as the 1 and we like Kittle as the bring back here, do we just go with our boy?
I don't see why not.
Right?
I mean, this is basically the all hope they play team. Well, with Kamara and Kittle. So,
yeah, for me, it's Kamara Fournette, based on how I've been drafting.
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree with
think
that.
it's smash for sure right there.
Yeah, maybe Fournette's better, or maybe a better play this week, or whatever.
Maybe,
but
yeah, maybe
I kind of like
maybe since we're planning Kittle, Fournette would have been better to secure that most likely for sure going to play. That's I don't know. That's something to think about. But
well, you know what's interesting to secure that for sure going to play is we could still take Ertz here, and run that double. Like I'm not in love with running the double with Kyler, but
I'm not totally against it.
I'm not. Yeah, I mean, I think it gives us options.
Well,
Granted,
I think
he's the.
You could just get Kittle if Ertz doesn't go here, and then if Kittle doesn't play, then you most likely get Ertz, right?
Sure. Yeah. No. Sure.
That's a really cool way to look at it, and
Yeah.
taking a look at the room that you're in and seeing what your options are.
Because it's basically like
late swap option is so sick.
Yeah,
if their game times cooperate.
Okay.
Yep. Arizona's after.
Okay, I want to articulate that thought again, just because I think that was a very, very sharp point, Newbie, is we know all the tight ends are gone right now. We have a fallback swap option as a double stack right now if Kittle doesn't go. Getting Kittle in the 6th is insane value. Let's take Kittle. If Kittle doesn't go, our fallback is the double stack. Like that's a beautiful point.
And just confirmed because the reason this works is because Kittle's at 305, Ertz is at 325 Central Time. So if that was flipped, you would not have the luxury of doing that. If that makes sense. Like you lose Ertz as a swap option.
And I don't know if people are aware with how, just to touch on the global swaps to Underdog, I'm pretty sure all of you are, but it just basically, it's a global swap. You don't it just goes off of your rankings. So after the first games are played, it'll take the first games. And if you have a guy in the 1 o'clock, I think most likely it should take people from those 1 o'clock games. You would think it would swap, but since they all lock, maybe you're just guaranteed those 4. So that's the one thing but it's a global swap. So if that guy isn't in, it just goes off your highest rankings in that position. So
and the fact that we don't have a tight end on that roster is that player has to be a tight end. So therefore, Yeah.
And another thing I'll say, and I don't know how this necessarily works, because sometimes if you get an early out designation, they will swap as soon as the slate starts, and then sometimes they wait. If it's a late out, they wait until. So if Kittle's a game time decision, it's 100% going to wait for the first snap. But sometimes if you get that early out designation, Underdog swaps that player as soon as the slate begins. So it is a little confusing. Just know that you just be aware of your questionable tags, and in my opinion, if you really want to be really sweaty about it, on your phone, pull up your draft board, and you can actually do that share button and take a picture of your draft board after every time you take one of those risky picks. That way you are well aware of every swap option that you have. I used to do that whenever it was six entry max back in the day for baseball.
That's a really good
super
point.
Sweaty. It's super sweaty, but squeeze out that EV. I'm going to stick for this first pick that we make. And then after that, I do got to bounce.
Cool. Last draft of the day here. Maybe one more. Who knows? Yeah, last draft of the day here. Let's do it. I think that was a really good, really sharp point about just knowing that in theory they will, and they know they have to eventually refine the swap process, because it's a little random right now, and there's better ways to do it for sure, but it's all a back end technology standpoint thing. Just for a little recap on that roster. We went Adams, then CMC fell to us. Then we took Marquise Brown for the mini, Kyler for the stack, and then we took Kamara, one of our late round targets, and then we're on the clock, and then Kittle. You guys we want to try to do an Adams build that's slightly different, or do you want to build a chase team this time?
I'm literally, I can't. It's a toss up. Flip a coin.
I would take Adams. I just.
Through and through, this is Adams' week.
Yeah, dude. It just
okay. I like it.
It's really.
I do like. I don't think.
I like the conviction.
Not that there's a like, it's Trayvon Diggs, but he's not your ultimate cover corner. But there's no one on Arizona that can shut down Devontae Adams. So
Yeah,
I
it's not
like
going to
it.
happen. All right, guys, best of luck finishing out this team. Blast as always. If everybody's free tomorrow, I think this would be fun to run this baby back. Maybe do a little bit of a draft marathon. But we'll be in touch. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, all that. Best of luck. I'll see you, boys.
Hey,
Hunter Renfro.
Do it for me. Do it for me.
Peace.
All right. Okay, Numi, where are we headed with this one? We got the Adams start again. McCaffrey pushed up to the 105. We're not going to get that beautiful. We're not going to get that beautiful stack that we had last time. Or not stack, but combo that we had last time. Where are your eyes gravitating towards on this one?
I want to scroll back up quick.
I got a plan. Okay, yeah. What do you like?
I have a guy if he falls here.
Okay.
Which I think it's Mixon.
Okay.
For leverage off of Chase.
Yeah, in an Adams lineup.
Yep.
Yeah,
I like doing that, and it's just things like that. It kind of shout out your 1 week season and that Pete stream that they did last. But that was a fantastic JM to win. Had just fantastic points about basically putting people in lineups that if they go off, you're having other people fail, and he put it so elegantly put about best ball, how he was like basically in these massive drafts, how he was going about them and checking what each people had for and like kind of making sure his bottom picks were each leveraged off of him. I mean, you can do that in a sense with these dailies, and it's
100%. We talked about it yesterday. We talked about it yesterday with my lineup that came second, that how the leverage existed with the picks you're making. Okay, we're on the clock again here.
Where are you thinking?
We got Mixon Adams here. I was thinking this Andrews Lamar was where my eyes were gravitating towards last pick. Obviously gone now. I like setting up. What if we do
Evans? Okay, yeah, Evans. Yeah.
I was like, I like setting this up. I think as soon as we saw his name, I like setting up this Evans where we get a backdoor with either Brady as the stack and Kamara with the bring back, or we get a little different from there. What do you think?
Yeah, it's either that or Mixon CD with Mixon. So it's one of you know what I mean? Like it would have to be that, and we can only do one because we can't have 3 and 2. So yeah, we'd have to make that, and it's either one. I'm not set on CD. I love the Kamara late too. So it's like it's really how that goes.
One thing I will share just as a random thought there.
I like Schultz too.
We have Schultz. We have Schultz as a running back tight end correlation on opposite sides of the ball, which is kind of fun. And then we miss CD. We fill our tight end spot with a correlated spot, because if we don't take Schultz, there's not really a correlated spot unless we go like very strange with the Tampa Bay side and we, try and do a double or something, which I wouldn't advocate for. But just open thought process. The other thing that exists right now that we talked about earlier was the Hawk Gibson.
I was just going to say, you could even do Hawk alone. Hawk projects very early, projection wise. Even without projection, super late. So that's another option too. I really do like that.
But we might have a weird decision on our hands where this is where we take what the draft room gives us. Like we're coming up with this plan and stuff. And right now we got Javonte Williams just fell to us. Yeah. And I think we just take him no matter what.
Yeah, so he does fall because they have so that's for
sure. He already had 2 running backs.
I think it's a Javonte. I like that.
This is very interesting because this is like as an overarching like just thought process thing where it's like we had a sick plan, we had some correlation patterns, we talked it all through, and then it's just like, whoa, this guy with a crazy ADP just fell to us. Yeah, fuck it all. You know what I mean? Like we just build this way now. And it's like
crazy, is it not? Like I haven't seen him go once above CMC.
I haven't seen him go once above CMC.
So to have an ADP ahead of him, I just don't understand. I'm waiting for this all of a sudden to look, and now Javante's like under CPAT, and then all of a sudden under Ezekiel. Like, you know what I mean?
I gotcha. Okay,
which is
now,
fine. Which is, I mean, we got him at 22. I don't care. I love the pick, but I've never seen him go above CMC.
Okay, this is an interesting conversation to have now because we've kind of pissed away our correlation in this build. So we could go with Schultz to bring back some of that correlation, but I cannot advocate for that over Pitts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would take Pitts.
So I would take Pitts now, and we're going to end up with one of these one-off uncorrelated teams, but it's going to be one of these like, hey, we're trying to play the best plays, and we're going to throw in either Carr or Brady at quarterback, I imagine.
I like the what our boy Brad brought up with Marcus
Mariota in this build. So Marcus Mariota added to
doesn't have to be, but yeah, I like Carr, like you said. I like Tom Brady, like you said. But Mariota's interesting.
I think in this build, if I'm thinking in terms of combinatorial ownership, I'm looking at this right now and going, yeah, it's going to be really fucking hard for anyone building right now to have a guy who has a 2 ADP, a guy who has a 4, and a guy who has a 6 on the same team.
Yeah, I do.
So we don't have to get that weird, even though it's chalky.
I think he's going to fall. I really think Javonte will fall because our boy I was inverted kept saying like, oh, he has all these ADPs. I mean, I don't know what the ADPs you got him at now, but they've changed so much. That I mean. The guy that's sitting at 6 could legitimately be at 15 later, just because in that 1 hour of drafts. So, I can't talk you out of any of those quarterbacks. So I like them.
I totally agree with you there. The one thing I'll just say to it is there are certain builds where I don't want to layer weirdness on top of. And it's kind of like when we build one of these teams, I don't want to make the assumption that I know better than ADP is going to shift. I just want to take it at face value in this given build and be like, we have 5 players with an ADP under 20. Let's not get weird with this one and just, I'm just going to add in one of the chalky quarterbacks here, and it's just going to be a one-off build, and we're just going to see what happens with it. And I'll get weird the next time I take Pitts and whatever, and these targets aren't there, right? I think that's just like I don't know. It's just like a mindset thing for me.
Yeah, I guess my mindset is I would be willing to take Mariota, no problem. So just a little difference of mindsets there. So I'm down with whatever on this team. I either quarterback.
Do you like Carr or Brady better this week?
Carr.
Okay.
It's not like a big car. It's just a small little sliver, like a small. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's not like it's like car, but yeah. So
right, yeah, no. Oh, that was a good one. That was fun because it's interesting because just to go back to the point that I made, where it's like we're talking through all these ownerships, and we took Evans with the mindset of like a Kamara bring back and maybe a back end Brady stack if he falls, and we had all these plans, and then like certain players just fall, and it's just like, okay, we'll just do those plans next draft. And that's the benefit of having like 150 bullets in these contests is, okay, we just got what we deem a rare combination of ownership. Okay, next time we can build a weird combination of ownership, right?
Yep. I like it.
Beautiful.
So, all right. That was good.
All right, Numi. I had a little news that I didn't even share with you guys yet because Nez dropped or whatever. I got a special guest from an NBC network who may be joining tomorrow, might be doing a double, like a back-to-back, like the 3 of us, and then one with him or something of this magnitude. But stay tuned. Special NBC guest guaranteed tomorrow coming on the Badge Bros program. 3-letter network guy. I'm telling you, things are happening for the Badge Bros. Anyways, we're out. Good chatting, Numi. We'll be talking in the Discord. Good luck tonight in the MLB streets. And anything to add?
No, man, I love it. Fantastic. We'll for any of you DGens, PGA dailies will be back at some point later today. So I love grinding them. I've gotten the PGA over the last 2 years specifically, and now with these contests, I mean it's been awesome. So I love PGA. I'm definitely not a big old thought leader of it, but I love playing it. And I can definitely talk about it and put my 2 cents in there once we get these contests up. So we can do a little touch on that for like 5 minutes tomorrow or something like that if we got
Absolutely. Time. And if there's some requests from the people that are diving in the PGA streets, like we could talk through it, do a draft on my account, your account, whatever, get some action going there and have a laugh over PGA. I know I can name about 5 golfers.
If you enjoy watching PGA, it's truly one of the best sweats to watch and have golf going if you have it.
Okay.
It's really fun. So
nice. I like it. Appreciate it. All right. We'll do more. We'll see you tomorrow. And let's hit what all the good people stayed around for, the epic graphic overlays outro. We're going to hit people with everything from the top. Boom, boom, boom. Later.
Peace out, everyone.